What's rockin', Rocky Top? It's Miles here at the Music Minute, where I talk about music that I think you will enjoy. Today I'm going to be reviewing Counterparts' album, The Difference Between Hell and Home. Based out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Counterparts comes out swinging on their 2013 release titled The Difference Between Hell and Home. This album was my first introduction to the melodic hardcore genre, and if you're looking for something with both heavy instrumentals with clean breaks and vocals that are filled with emotion, this album is perfect for you. From start to finish, everything blends together. Usually in an album, there's a song or two I skip just because I either don't want to listen to it or I'm not in the mood for it. But that is not the case with this album. The whole thing seamlessly blends together and makes the listening experience even more enjoyable. I know I say this a lot in reviews, but if you have the opportunity to listen to this album from start to finish, please do. If you know me well, you know I listen to a few songs off of this album at least once a day. I cannot get enough of it, seriously. With this being said, I have a few songs for you to check out that stand out to me the most off of this album. The first song I would recommend would be Outlier, which is the fourth track on this album. When I first heard this song, I was mesmerized by how a group of people could write a song filled with such complexity. The second song is Slave. This is the 10th song on this album, and while it is the shortest on the album, it packs such a heavy punch that you won't even know what hit you. It is also one of the heaviest songs on the album in my opinion, and if you want something that'll really get you pumped up, give this song a listen. The last song I would recommend is Soil. This is the 11th song on the album, and it is the standout track to me. If you listen to Slave and then Soil, you will notice that Slave fades right into Soil. While that is one of my favorite moments on the album, that is not why it stands out to me. This song is simply so powerful and complex that it is hard to not enjoy it. It is nearly 6 minutes and it evolves so much that if you didn't know any better, you would think it was two different songs. The first half is intense, very hard, and the last half of the song is essentially a jam session between the members. Now I know I usually go into even more detail about albums and I can write pretty lengthy reviews, but I had the chance to chat with the guitarist of Counterparts, Kensebben, about this album, and I'd much rather you hear what he had to say than me. So without further ado, here's my interview with Alex.
Difference is to this day, my proudest achievement, just because we were on such a level of understanding where we were just doing things without really talking about them. Because we had not only done those past two records and all the touring that came with it, we had developed this sort of mutual understanding between one another, especially between Jesse and I. We were just so on the same page. We were okay, we got to take what we did well on Profits, we got to take what we did well on Current and grow. What amazes me about that record so much, Difference, is that it wasn't really anything that we really had to think too hard on. The songs kind of came naturally. We tried some wacky stuff. I listened to it a week ago, just reminiscing, and there's songs on there I can't believe we got away with. I wrote this song called the last three songs on the record I wrote, and the last two specifically, Slave and Soil,
they're crazy.
Wild. They're wild
They're
songs.
Insane.
Soil's 6 minutes long. It's nuts. Yeah. It's just we were just trying things, and we were just on this level of, and Brendan was really coming into his own too. That was the first time I really started to notice people really responding to his lyrics. When he posted Wither and Witness, those two songs, I noticed people really starting to, vibe with Brendan. Brendan's a genius because he, at a specific moment in time, was able to articulate all of these things that all of these people were feeling, what we were talking about earlier, how we're all pissed off and miserable and anxious, but we're positive about it. And that's Brendan, man. He put it into words before we even knew we were depressed. The writing was just so easy for that record. We worked so hard on it, though. I don't want to act like it was a breeze. Where I say we recorded Current guitars in 2 days, Jesse and I were stuck in a room for 2.5 weeks, just meticulously plotting out everything. And it wasn't a copy and paste sort of perfect note thing that Profits was. That's not what we spent the time on. We spent the time on Jesse and I were always big on arrangement. Transitions were huge too. All of the stuff that a song could be constructed by, if you were constructing a song, that was something that we were always really, really, really passionate about and into. So those conversations were super, super helpful, and just the whole vibe of the record was just as easy as those.
As always, thank you for listening, and don't forget to check out the next episode where I review the album So I Don't Forget by Unwoven, as well as interviewing the man behind it all, Charlie Singer. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll talk to you next week.